sold like 90 gajillion copies. So when we were making Britney, she wanted to change, and it was, she felt she needed to change, needed to happen. So that's what we did. Experimented, and that's where Lonely, and must have wrote like an 10 or 12 songs for that. A lot.
Mhm. Yeah. Speaking of songs that were written for Britney, there's one song called "Before the Goodbye." Um, I'm not sure if you remember that offhand, but it's been lore that it was never fully finished. I was wondering if that was on the writing end or on the production end. I don't think you were involved in the
I didn't
production.
beat Brian Transeau produced it. Beat, they call him in the DJ world. Uh, he produced it. We wrote it with him. So I remember going to his house with me. Brian was there. It was the two of us because we were a team, and then Brittany was there, and then it was Brian and Transeau, and yeah, we just wrote it together. I think we were just kind of vibing. I think they wanted something like, because he had just done pop for his, really cool, and his production is crazy. He's unbelievable, the craziest programmer I've ever seen. So we were just there from a writing aspect. We're both producers and writers, but when it came down to BT, we just kind of went there with our guard down. And we're like, okay, we're in. Let's just write and let Brian do it, because he's like DJ. He's like an electronic music god. He's like a whole nother level. Uh, was it finished? Is I don't think it was. I don't think it came out like great. It was okay. Uh, it was about like, from what I remember, she was dating him at the time. That's all I really remember. We were kind of writing it about. Uh, they never saw each other. Like, they did, but then they would each go on tour. And Sync was busy. She was busy. They were both at the peak of their, like, it was craziness. It was craziness. What I remember. Uh, this is so long ago. It was about 20 years ago, but yeah, I would say we wrote that like kind of about that whole thing of when she would leave for tour and he would leave for tour and she was missing him before they even said goodbye. But yeah, I thought it was finished. I don't know. We didn't produce it, so that would really be a question.
Right, thank you. Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite songs from the record, so I love hearing
The
that.
record, it was on the European version and the Canadian version, right? It wasn't on like the American.
Yeah, it's now available everywhere on Spotify, thankfully. So,
Oh, good. No, that's good. There
yeah.
was a lot of songs. The ones that really were the core on the record were like "Lonely," "Anticipating," "Let Me Be," "That's Where You Take Me." Those made the record, and then everything else was like a bonus track for the UK stuff. From what I remember, like "I Run Away," uh, you just mentioned, "Before the Goodbye." There was like, God, there was so many, and the uncut. I get hit up a lot about that, like the uncut ones. Everybody's curious. And I can't share them because they're probably on a media that I can't even access anymore in my vault, like digital audio tape or ADAT or these old school medians we used to record on, because I'm an old man. We didn't do it on the computer the same way back then. I'm sure
Right,
there's
yeah,
I'm sure
we
there's
got several questions about, some of the unreleased material since, obviously Britney is a fan favorite album, so a lot of
And
the unreleased.
stop me because I'm a Jew. I'll just go on and on and on. Like, I'm a Jewish guy. Like, we just talk. So if you have a question, just interrupt me because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about half the time. My brain is fried after 20 years of music, and you
Yeah, speaking of, 20 years in music, do you wanna talk about kind of your career in songwriting? You talked about how getting started in writing "My Only Wish" and all that. Um, do you want to talk about any fun stories that you may have from working in the record industry and then moving out of the music industry?
well, the guy I had was Aaron Carter, which was Aaron's Party. That was when I first started. So when I got to Jive, I signed a publishing deal there, and I was at Zamba. Jive, it was Clive. They owned it all. It was all the same. the publishing company and the record company. So yeah, they were like, hey, we got this kid. He's Nick Carter's brother. He's as handsome as 12. Uh, we were like they didn't know what to really do with him because he was a decent singer. Not he wasn't Nick. Nick can sing his ass off. They gave him to us, and we were like, okay, what about like Will Smith, or what about Tone Loc, like Bust a Move, or those old songs? So we kind of went back in the vault of the stuff we grew up on, Beastie Boys and all that shit, and we came back and came up with Aaron's Party, and then How I Beat Shaq, and all those crazy, funny. They're just kind of funny and goofy, but it worked really well. And he sold like multi-platinum records, and that was the beginning of my career. I think was Aaron for sure, because I had a couple cuts before that, but it was nothing important. But once I had that, they let us work on the big artists at Jive. Once Aaron exploded, Jive was like, "You guys have a song that'll work for the Backstreet Boys, and hey, you guys have a song that'll work for Britney." And then they put us in the studio with Britney, and that was really the launching pad. Was Aaron, who I still talk to. I haven't talked to him in about a year, but I do talk to him still. He's a really nice kid. I always liked Aaron, but we chat once in a while.
Right on. Do you have any funny stories about Britney that you'd be
Oh,
able to share?
Vey, Britney. She is such a down to earth person. Like, girl who's her normal. Guys, she wanted to take a break from the studio. I remember she'd be like, I want to go home and like rearrange my sock drawer. And I want to make myself a tuna fish sandwich. Like that's the kind of shit Britney would do because she just felt normal because she was always um we just had a lot of laughs. She's like the sweetest person on the planet. I mean, this is 20 years ago, but all I remember the last time I saw her in 2000. So I was because when she switched management and stuff was going down and the temporary switch of management, I was signed to her manager, Larry. So I was with that whole camp of people. She started just sort of had a little bit of I guess a few problems in the early 2000s, and before that, any interaction I had with Britney was amazing. Like she was just the sweetest, most down to earth, humble girl. Uh, I really have nothing. This is whether it's funny. I mean, she laughed a lot. Remember when she was with Justin? I remember when she broke up with Justin. We were there for both of those records. I have a couple cuts on In the Zone as well. Uh, all that, but uh, after that, nothing. Before that, just a lot of laughs. She was just a very goofy girl, very funny, and very sweet and humble, and like just everything you see, she's pretty genuine. She's a very person. I don't think she's giving you anything that she isn't when you see her in the public.
Right on. Would you ever write or work with Britney again if you have the chance?
And that's me though. That's not Britney. I would yes, I would. I mean, I would love to see Britney again. I don't think I would ever write again. I think I'm kind of over it. I'm like almost 50 years old. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm I don't know what kids are thinking anymore. I don't. I used to really be in touch with that, and I feel like I do have a teenager, so I do have an idea, and I'm on TikTok, and I look at it, and I'm like, I don't. This is wow. I don't get it. This stuff was not around at all when I was writing songs. So the barely was an internet when I was writing songs. Um, and imagine that. That's how long ago that was. So MySpace was new 6 years into my career. I was like, I think when Britney's third album, Britney came out. Yeah, I don't remember seeing MySpace till a little bit later. So it's just a different industry now. I don't know. I mean, what I do like about what I did with Britney versus what a lot of other people did was she really sang on the stuff that we did with her. We made her sing. We got her in there and she sang. It wasn't like a lot of auto tune. It wasn't like a lot of the stuff that goes on anymore. Like on Anticipating, on Lonely, she's really singing and she's singing well. Um, we pushed her to do that, and I'm sure she hated us for it. But at the end of the day, she sounds that's her voice. That's what she sounds like. But it was kind of cool. Like a couple months ago, she posted on Instagram, and she was talking about. I remember writing that with her. It was just fun. So, and that was about. Yes, it was just like we really got to reach into her head and hang out and pull ideas out. It was cool. That's how we write. Our process is kind of interviewing an artist. We talk about what's going on, and we keep it to ourselves. We're like, hey, it comes out in the studio. It's going to be private between us, but we need to know what's going on in your life so we can write. So it's honest, and that's what we did. That at least, like very like Howard Stern interviewing someone.
Yeah, someone brought up in the chat, did you ever get to hear her more natural voice, the deep voice, as opposed to it's typically termed the baby voice, but did you ever get to hear that out of her?
God, I Runaway, which is a song I wrote for her. I feel like she gave us that she has a really big range and she can sing. It's just the way music in those days was it was just auto it was just the sound. It was part of the sound. So there to judge her on singing when the sound, when T-Pain came out, he really made it even more popular than it was when we were doing it. Um, I Want to Be Bad for Willa Ford. That was one of the earlier tracks. We used the hell out of it back in 2001-ish. I Want to Be Bad came out, and I remember using auto tune all over it, and it was cool. But like, it got so saturated. I like hearing people sing. Brian and I come from an R&B world. We came up the first cut, other than Aaron, the first cut I ever had was 50 Cent, which was Love, and it was prior to going with some of the hitmen from. And we were doing like urban music, like in this, like we were doing real gully shit, like rap. We were doing all sorts of hip hop for LL and World, and then switched over to pop because we were like nobody knows how to write songs, and we did. So, what was Thug Love featuring Beyonce for 50 Cent? Who either of them were, believe it or not. I think No 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 just came out. That's how long ago that was. It was like 98, 99. Before I signed a job. I don't even think I had a publishing deal yet, to be honest with you. That's how long ago that was. Uh, and Carl Thomas was another artist. A lot of R&B, 3LW, a lot of R&B stuff. Then Britney came, Aaron, but nothing was a hit until Aaron. They don't really care about you till you have a hit song. Then they start going, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Makes sense. Stop me from rambling.
It's very interesting. Someone also asked, how do you do the process of auto tuning? Are you able to kind of speak to that, or?
And well, now it's all plugins, right? Online or Pro Tools. But then it was an actual standalone unit. It was an actual unit in our rack, and we would run the audio track through it and play with it live, and then sit down to another track. So the old school way is the way we did it with I Want to Be Bad, but with Tune became a plugin, what they call a plugin, which is like a on your computer. With Nick and Pro Tools, we were able to do it. With Britney, we did it that way. But with Willa Ford, I believe it was, believe it or not, a standalone actual analog unit that we used. And threw it and played it like an instrument, like ran the dial up to get that. I want to be, all those cool little. It was really cool. Um, we experimented a lot. We were big fans of all that, like the Beastie Boys and all that stuff. So we always went to the shops and bought all the vintage gear and like to experiment with sounds. And I think we did that a little bit with Britney on the third album. With her, like low, we brought the guitars in and the live instruments, and then we live strings in on Anticipating and I Runaway. That was an orchestra we recorded in Manhattan, so that was kind of cool. That was actually like a 30-piece orchestra. Wild.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was.
Speaking,
I have that on
yeah.
video somewhere. I gotta find it.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Speaking of Britney, the album, what is your favorite track off of it? Oh, Josh? Oh, I think we might have lost you, Josh.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. Lonely, say. Uh, because it's my daughter's favorite.
Right on. Yeah, I'm just looking through the questions right now, making sure
Okay.
making everything.
Words.
Yeah, how was it to work on a project with one of the biggest celebrities at the time? Did you feel pressure or did you feel some sort of relief while working?
To be completely honest, if you want a truly honest answer, first year of my life, gotten any. I felt no pressure. My father died. My mother was lost her mind, and was complete. I have no brothers or sisters, so that's the truth. I was completely alone. So I had, what the hell did I have to lose, right? So that was my year. That was that year. Lowest point of my life. So it felt, I just was like, I just want to write as much as possible to forget everything that's going on around me. And that was really the truth. That's an honest answer. I had absolutely no fear. I don't give a shit. That's me. I'll try anything. And, it's scary, but like, if I win, awesome. If I screw it up, well, that would be terrible. I wasn't really afraid of that. Uh, I have a lot of confidence. I'm not arrogant. I don't feel that way, at least, but I feel like I had a lot of confidence, and I think you being confident doesn't necessarily mean arrogant. So we uh we went for it, and we were told try something different, and we're not afraid of that, so we did. But I wasn't really that scared because I had nothing to lose, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. In addition, fans have been speculating that Britney had a small, limited amount of creative control over her early albums. Based on your
Mhm.
experiences, do you agree or disagree?
Agree. As she got bigger, she definitely deserved that control, and I feel like there were certain songs that made the record because she was like, they're gonna get their Max Martin songs that are like, okay, that's our hit. Then they're gonna let Britney do the rest. And I think that's probably what happened. Same thing with Backstreet and Sync. Once you have that, those are the biggest. They were the biggest stars on the planet. So, right, creative control. In my opinion, I'm not the record label, of course. Remember, I don't work for Jive. I work for me. I think she wanted to keep. She probably cut 30 or 40 songs for that record and only kept 12. I'm honored to have been for those.
Right on. And you briefly spoke about Before the Goodbye and the inspiration behind that. Do any of
Mhm.
the songs that you co-wrote besides that one have a specific meaning related to Britney herself? Are they based on real life events or you spoke
Okay,
about interviewing her, just wondering if there was any
you know what? I'll tell you
particular.
what was really cool about that third album. They gave me a of cross. They said right from the perspective of the characters. Brian and I happen to be really good at that. We're not just producers, we're lyricists, we're writers, we're melody, right? We do everything. So when we did that, um, we wrote like "Let Me Be" from the perspective of the character she played. I never actually saw the movie, but I remember when she made the movie and visiting her on the set of the movie and all that fun. Uh, like I run away from the perspective of the mom, Kim Cattrall's character, uh, the perspective of Britney's character. So stuff. It was supposed to be like a soundtrack to the movie because it all dropped at the same time. If you remember the movie, she had the number one movie, the number one song, album in the country all at the same time. Insane when you think about it.
Yeah,
She
definitely.
pulled. Eminem did. Eminem pulled that off too. Um, when he did "Lose Yourself" with 8 Mile, but I think Britney did it first. Gotta be honest. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah, and one of the questions is how long did you work with Jive Records? As I know you kind of mentioned it was more like a contract thing than
Ten,
working with
10
them,
years.
but 10
10
years.
years. I was there from 9 years. I was there from 1998 or 99. I'm sorry, 99 until 2008, and then I left. They were bought. I've sold the company. Club Culture sold the company in 2000 and I want to say 3 or 4. So Universal absorbed it, and then I was signed to Universal just by happenstance, not by any reason other than absorbing my contract there. And 2008, and then I went unpublished for a while, and then went over to Razor and Tie. Collect on anything for me. The publisher is just a bank, really. You know, uh, that's all they really are. They're gonna give you. They're gonna collect your. Make sure you're getting your money from Korea. You know, stuff like that, or China, or wherever your music is being played. I'm unpublished now, but I don't write anymore. I think we discussed that
Y-
on text, but I don't write much song wise. I have no interest. I'd like. I mean, I guess it would be fun. I wouldn't be against it. I don't wake up in the morning with ideas anymore. Like I'm at a point where I'm just kind of sad, different different headspace.
Right. Done.
Well, it has to do with how many songs can be on an album. It's something with the rating. So I can't explain it legally, but I know American albums generally have 12 songs. And if you look, you'll see that at 100% rate. And then like you'll see England, it'll be like 15 or 16. It gets like I you're better off probably interviewing a publisher and asking why, but I know it has something to do with the way albums are paid out, like the way that the royalties are paid. I don't think they put more than 12 or 13. Like I have it here in front of me. Yeah, on the Britney record. I've got Lady Gaga's Fame as what, 12? Fame, because the Fame Monster. I have a song on the Fame, not the Monster. Uh, the Happy Feet soundtrack has 13. So it's all kind of the same, isn't it? So I think it has something to do with the pie more so than it's just how it's always been.
Okay. Speaking of Lady Gaga, what was the best part of working with her? One of the people in chat is a really big fan of Summer Boy and the Fame, the album.
It was she was kind of in her own world. She was a little bit more artistic and dark. Um, she would always come in and I we were probably drinking to be honest. Britney wasn't like that. I never had a cocktail with Britney. Um, Gaga, I feel we it was just more edge. It was a different artist, and she was a real musician, a little bit more so. Uh, but mean, Lady, I don't have the really. I didn't feel the same warmth from Lady Gaga that I did Britney. That I guess that sweet Southern girl thing. Just she was a jaded, cynical New York City performer, and that's what I felt, and that's what she is. And Britney, I just warmth. Like you feel like your family when you're hanging out with Britney. She's just so sweet, and Gaga's awesome. She's cool as shit, but she's like us. She's got like a East Coast cynicism. She doesn't have that Southern. That's the different personalities. They're both unique in their own way, and they're both on the planet. So I'm not that talented. I'll be honest with you. I lucked out. I worked with them, all these people, but it's not because I'm some sort of yes. It's just like shit just happens. I don't know what to say. I I, I just lucked out. I guess I'm good at writing songs. I'm good at hanging out with people and talking to them and getting feelings out of them like a psychologist, and then putting it to paper. Uh, but I'm not James Taylor. But I love her. I mean, that was amazing to be part of. I never saw that coming. She's like one of the biggest artists in the world still. It's wild to see that still.
Yeah, so that's all the questions that have come through so far. If
Okay.
anyone has any last minute questions, we can
Yeah,
get
Summer
those
Boy,
in.
just that was like we were going for Cardigans feel. We were going for like Blondie meets the Cardigans. If you're either of them, one is from the '70s, one's from the '90s, but like that feel of Summer Boy, and we thought that would be cool. And we didn't know she was going to do dance music. We wrote all of our songs with Gaga before Just Dance was recorded. And then she went off and just did dance music. And I was like, oh, that's what you wanted? Shit, I would have done that. So we thought she wanted Blondie. We thought she wanted this Lower East Side '70s sound. And then she ended up just doing dance music, if that makes sense. Poker Face, not so much. That was great. But like Just Dance was just kind of like a four on the floor beat, like dance song, which was amazing and it did well. But like if we knew that, we would have probably recorded more songs like that.
Yeah, so I think this will be the last question. What are your thoughts on the
Sure.
Free Britney movement now that Britney's been released
Free
from the
Britney?
conservatorship? Yeah,
What do I feel about it?
yeah, just your thoughts, I
Is that what
guess.
you're
That
I it's terrifying that any entity, whether it's government or a court, can actually come into your private property and take it. I think that's terrifying. I'm not gonna like weigh in on whether or not I think she's sound. I think I can't say. I mean, every time I listen, I love her. She's a doll. She's always been sweet to me. Um, I just think from a as an American, that's terrifying that they can do that to you without being a threat to anyone, including yourself. She's not a threat to anybody. That's crazy. So I think what they did to her was awful. I don't know the inside story. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I wasn't there for that. I've met her family, with the exception of her father, from her mom, Jamie, her brother, Brian. Everybody was so cool. So I don't know what went on there. I think money maybe changes people, you know, um, which is terrible, but it does. And I, I, I I don't know Britney to be anything other than very sweet. Her bodyguards were always cool. Everything about her like was just very polite and sweet, and just and she was never a diva around us in the studio. She was just like the nicest girl. I don't know. I hope she's doing well. I haven't seen her in years. I'd love to see her again.
right on. Well, hopefully that can happen. As like a reunion. That'd be awesome.
It would have been
I think
cool. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her since fourth album, fifth. Yeah, In the Zone. Last time I saw her was
yeah,
when I did Brave New Girl.
right.
Yeah, it was a long
Yeah, I
time
see
ago.
one person typing on and off, so I don't know if they have a question. Don't want to end it before.
Sure. Yeah, listen, I'm easy. I told you I'm easy. I don't know. I just really like her. She's always a very, very nice girl. I don't have a lot of dirt. I don't remember. Her mom was awesome. Her sister was awesome. I know shit's going down now. Like I know there's beef now between her and her sister. I see it on the news, like you. I'm not involved, but they try to hack me a lot. I get a lot of emails from the Free Britney movement. I get a lot of like fake emails like, "Hey, this is Britney's new manager. I'm looking for this song X," and I'm like, "Yeah, horse shit. Call me." And you know what I mean? Because I have the songs. I'm not giving them to anybody. I'm not sending anything out. I'm not going to do that to her. But I get a lot of attempts through my email, which is why I'm so very careful about who I talk to. I feel it out.
Right, yeah, that's pretty understandable.
Yeah, yeah. It happens with Gaga too. Somebody hacked her and emailed me through her actual email, which was
Oh my
wild.
gosh.
Somebody actually, yeah, they sent me an email from her email that I had stored in my phone. I was like, holy shit, there's no way that's Stephanie. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Give me a call. I always say, give me a quick call, 30 seconds. Let's chat before I send anything. And then they don't, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm like, oh, you're full of shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know what you're up to. I'm too good at that stuff. As a real estate agent, there's wire fraud happening all the time, so I get the same emails. And I'm like, yeah, you got the wrong one. I'm Jewish. I know my way around fraud. Don't talk to me about fraud. Like I know what you're trying to do here. You know? So I'm a little too awake for that kind of stuff. I'm not that old yet. Give me like 20 years, maybe get that by me, but it ain't happening in my 40s, believe me. And I do have a lot of songs and there was a lot of songs that in the original doll asked me about. He knew about a lot of stuff. I was shocked. He's cool as shit, but he just knew every song, and even ones that weren't released, I guess somehow leaked. And it wasn't from me, I can tell you that, because I just feel like if art isn't ready, it's not ready. You know, if it's not ready, it's not ready. It's not right to put art out there, especially if the artist doesn't want it out there. So I have songs that I wrote with Gaga that the only people who have heard those songs is me and my partner and Gaga, and that's it. You know, maybe the record company. So if it leaks, it ain't from me. That's all.
Yeah, so there's some love for Brave New Girl in the chat as well. And I'll
That was
probably
fun.
make this a
Fun
funny
song.
question. If Britney called you right now,
Mhm.
what would you do? And assuming it's legit and not someone hacking.
Yeah, I would know. Believe me, I would know it's her, 'cause we have a lot of inside jokes. What would I do? I would do whatever she wanted. I think I think at this point, if I had something to give, I would give it to her. She's good to me, and if there was something I can help, I'd be happy to. That's all.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for.
If Brittany needed me and wanted something from me, I'd be more than happy to help. She's given me, like I said, I've done so much with her, and we just had a great time, a great experience. And I adore her, so I would do whatever she needed.
Also, someone says you're young, so don't worry.
40, 46. We'll see. We'll see.
And lots of love from Poland as well.
I'm Polish. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Polish and
thank
Russian.
you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Reached out to me. I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. Whatever. That's cool. All these people
Love
like
from
same age.
Brazil,
Are you guys all
Romania. Yeah.
high school? Like, what age are you guys? Are you all like that age?
So I'm
College?
I'm 25. We got 13, 16, 19.
Wow. She has fans that are that young still.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me that still happens. You know, my daughter's a fan. My daughter's 14, so I think that's so damn cool that you know, she's still. My daughter. She was wearing a Backstreet Boys shirt to school the other day. I was like, holy shit, that's so cool. I called Howie and I was like, hey, my daughter's got a Backstreet Boys shirt on. He's like, yo, she's good taste. Yeah. I still talk to them a little bit.
That's
They're fun.
awesome.
Those guys, they are cool as hell. Right? Backstreet Boys, they are such nice guys. Unbelievable. That's why they've been around so long. They are the sweetest people. Everybody's nice. I lucked out. I haven't really worked with that many assholes, to be completely honest with you. I've been very lucky. Brittany, I don't know NSYNC, but I've met Justin and JC multiple times, and they are both cool as freaking hell. Like, you want it. Justin is so gifted, you want to hate him, right? But like when Brittany was dating him, he was always around, and he always remembered my name, and he was always so cool. And I'm like, it was like that scene in Sarah Marshall, you know, and you're like, oh my god, I want to hate you. So cool, and he really was. He really was a nice guy.
Right on.
I
Right
get it.
on.
I get why people love him. He's really, really likable. It's unbelievable. Just like I said, it's all luck. I don't know how I got from a basement, New Jersey, those songs, and then it doesn't either.
Right on. Well, again, thank you so much. Yeah, we really
Sure.
appreciate it.
No problem at all. No problem.
Yeah. Have a great
Enjoy.
day. Yeah.
Okay, you too. Bye bye. Hope I
Bye.
helped.
Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you learned something and enjoyed it. Yeah. See y'all around.